The Wego World War II series was I developed that first with John Ducat, and we had our first game, which was Desert War, and then we did that. After that, we did Stalingrad, which is now available on Steam. So now we're on our next game, which is the Western Front, and it's Wego World War II Overlord, and we brought on scenario designer Don Timian for this one. The Wego system differs from other war games in that it's other war games have an I go you go model. So one side moves and then the other then resolves combat, and then the second side has a chance to do the same. But in a Wego World War II, both players give their orders at the same time, and then they resolve simultaneously, just like in Reinoculation. So at the start of the next turn, you can see a film of what happened, and you have a chance to plan your orders after that, after you've seen all the battles and the unexpected encounters that happened during the turn. The simultaneous resolution impacts game experience because it creates unpredictability. So you can't cheat really and go back in time. So if your unit is driving down the road and runs into an ambush, you can't stop mid-turn and change your mind for the rest of the units. They're already going down that road. So this makes intelligence absolutely crucial. So we give the player lots of ways to spot enemy movements, like air recon and flights to survey enemy positions and radio intercepts. So you'll never have perfect information, but you can prepare. The system has evolved quite a lot since Desert War. So in Stalingrad, we introduced this ability to combine 3 battalions into a regiment and break them down. So this keeps the map clean of great lumps of units, and lets you adapt to wide open terrain or urban combat. We've also added off-map assets like airstrikes and air supply drops and naval gunfire and radio-based intels. So these tools allow you to shape the battlefield without cluttering it with extra units. On top of that, we've improved the interface with 2 UIs. So there's a drag and drop movement and also a classic click-based movement. Both tooltips and right-click access for quick information as well. So in Overlord, we're bringing the system to the beaches of Normandy. So we're adding a new dynamic weather, seaborn and airborne operations, and streamlining tools and handling D-Day's unique assets. At this point, I'll hand over to Don Timian. He's been leading the charge of the ground force database and scenario design for Overlord.
Hello, my name is Don Timian, and for Overlord, I was privileged to be the developer of the master, Allied, and German databases, help create several scenarios, and take part in both alpha and beta testing. As we get close to release, I'd like to walk you through 3 major new features we've added to the game engine. Features we believe will really elevate your Normandy experience. Dynamic weather, airborne and seaborne operations, plus a more streamlined approach to the first wave landings on D-Day. In our earlier games, Desert War and Stalingrad, the weather was always good. Clear skies, dry ground. Not anymore. Overlord introduces a full dynamic weather system that changes turn by turn and really matters. We track 5 distinct variables: visibility, temperature, precipitation, ground conditions, and sea state. And each affects the battlefield differently. Low visibility makes air missions harder. Heavy rain slows infantry, armor, and artillery. And cold temperatures bring general mud, slowing armor to a crawl. Naval operations are also vulnerable. Rough seas or storms can cut naval support by half or even remove it entirely. Storms reduce German supply by 25%, and for the Allies, they can halt the landings of ammunition, fuel, reinforcements, or replacements. It's not just flavor, it forces players to adapt to real operational friction. Airborne and seaborne operations. We've added new mechanics to capture the unpredictability of these operations. On the night of June 5th into the morning of June 6th, the Allies dropped 3 airborne divisions, the US 82nd and 101st Airborne, plus the British 6th Para. In the game, each unit now goes through a scatter roll influenced by factors like night conditions, enemy zones of control, terrain features such as hedgerows and rivers, and even flooded fields or sea hexes. Bad scatter can reduce strength or readiness, and units might not land together or could be temporarily combat ineffective. Seaborn assault units face similar checks, scatter attrition, and environmental influences like night or whether they're in a duplex drive Sherman. These mechanics remove guaranteed landings and perfect timing, replacing them with the chaos and uncertainty real commanders faced. As to streamlining the first landings on D-Day, in early testing, the beaches, Utah, Omaha, Sword, Gold, and Juneau, were crammed with units, infantry battalions, rangers or commandos, and numerous specialized support companies like D.D. Shermans, Assault Engineers, and the British 79th Armored Division's Funnies. The counterstacks became so tall you couldn't see the map. To fix this, without removing historical flavor, we abstracted these specialized units into ground support assets, cards. Instead of individual counters, players now assign a support card like Funnies to an attack, applying combat modifiers during resolution. You still see the effects in battle, but without the micromanagement. The focus is on tactics, not counterstacking. So with these changes, where does Overlord stand within the series? We've worked hard to make these systems both historically authentic and more playable. The living, breathing weather system, the realistic handling of airborne and seaborne operations, and the cleaner approach to D-Day's unique assets all combine to make Overlord one of the most immersive entries in the Wego World War II series yet. Have fun storming the beaches.